Hello and welcome to today's class. Today we're going to discuss about digital operations design. So how we design our digital operations, which are the fundamental elements that we can use in order to design our digital operations. So we start with defining what is digital operations. The people and the management processes associated with delivering and supporting both internal and external digital applications, systems and services with an emphasis on quality, risk reduction and cost effectiveness. This is what we call digital operations. While digital can be said that it is a vague and ambiguous term, this is why this is because the majority of industries are going to define digital in a different way because they perceive it in a different way according to their operations. Successful organizations will consistently redefine digital in order to fit with their reality. Now, which are the key focal points? They are digital operation components and service catalogs, skills adapted by effective teams, increasing development team velocity, and digital transformation and planning for the future. While the service components, which will drive your service strategy, are cloud services and provisioning and expertise, monitoring and analytics, change and risk management, incident triage and problem root cause analysis, security and compliance, DevOps support. Okay, so now we're going to take a look a bit closer to each one of these services components. But before that, we're going to discuss about cloud services provisioning and expertise. Say a couple of words. Cloud is about how you do computing, not where you do computing. And this is the essence of cloud. It can help you work from all over the world. Okay, you can work on wherever you are, and you can communicate your work with other people from all over the globe. Simplify requirements gathering, build an intuitive self-service portal, automate service provisioning, build POCs as production ready, tag, and categorize all assets. So categorization is at its best, and you need to tag everything in order to be in order and to help you when needed. Now, the first crucial element that we said that we are going to discuss is monitoring and analytics. Most of the world will make decisions by either guessing or using their gut. They will be either lucky or wrong. This is what Suhail Doshi, CEO, said. And of course, if you think a bit of it, it is 100% true. Why? Because, you know, people, entrepreneurs till now, in the past, were used to use that in terms of their decision making, their guts, which means their experience. Okay, using your experience is absolutely perfect. It's very important, and it is something that no one can buy. But on the other hand, nowadays we have so many information. We're living in the era of big data and data analysis. We can use all this information in order to get support in our decision making. If we are going to use only our expertise, our experience, I think that the possibilities are that we are not going to achieve anything, only if we're going to be lucky. And this is because things have changed the last year so dramatically, and changed all the way, again and again. And it is although experience is very important, it's absolutely very difficult to base your decision only upon your experience. Okay, you need to add more information in your decision-making process. So data always tells a story. The thing is that we need to read behind the lines of this story. Okay, and by that I mean you need to combine a knowledge of market, which has to do with experience. As I said, experience is not irrelevant. Okay, it is very useful, but you cannot base your decisions only upon your experience. You need to combine data with your experience in order to be able to read behind the lines of the story that the data is telling you. And the lines of this story is what's going on in the market. Build dashboards consumable by all stakeholders. For example, when we have KPI dashboards, all stakeholders can take a look and briefly can discover what's going on in the company in terms of its operations. And this is going to be based upon metrics as important as the KPIs of the company. Measure with real user monitoring, which is passive. Test with synthetic monitoring, which is it's kind of proactive, as it is a technique that is done by using a simulation or scripted recordings of transactions in order to determine if, for example, a website that we are building or an application is slow or experiencing slow downtime before this is going to reach your end user. So it is something that you do proactively in order to the final product, for example, your website or an application, when it's going to reach your end customers, should be ready on 100% and not having difficulties, for example, lagging, etc. Alert and debug with system monitoring, which needs availability. Debugging, okay, it's a standard process. Leverage machine learning for trend reporting and predictive alerting. Via machine learning, you can detect trends that will help you in order to predict potential pitfalls and mistakes that will occur in the future and correct them. So you can say that this is also a proactive approach. Change and risk management. If you want to make enemies, try to change something, as Woodrow Wilson said. So changing things in your life, and especially in companies, it is not the easiest thing in the world. It needs a consensus from the key players inside the company, and of course needs a very good communication between the stakeholders who are going to be involved one way or another with this change. Also needs to be needs for you to have an agile company which is ready to change whenever the situation occurs. So focus more on impact, who versus activity what. Keep bureaucracy to a minimum. Empower agile, don't block it, which is the most important thing of all. Blend change and project management processes, and adapt change processes to continuous improvement strategic principles. Now, incident triads and problem root cause analysis, which is very important, of course. By triads, we mean to assign a level of importance to different or to incidents that we have in order to try to solve them, to investigate them in order to solve the problems in an order that we have predetermined via our triads procedure. We cannot solve our problems with the same level of thinking that created them. Okay, so we need to think a bit further. Know the difference between incident and problem, since they are not two identical things. An incident cannot always be a problem. Separate incident and problem processes. Thoroughly document escalation processes. Consider subscription-based notifications. Avoid processes with reply all email conversing. Keywords like band-aid, temporary fix, it is what it is, may mean you have a problem. The next thing, and next important element is, of course, security and compliance. It takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If I may add to what Warren Buffett said, not only 5 minutes, but 5 seconds might be enough. Security is everyone's responsibility. So what is important is to educate about security issues at business stakeholders and stop scaring them. This is going to happen, etc. All this kind of stuff. It is better to let them understand why, what should they do in order bad things not happen. Patch early, patch often, incorporate security updates into sprints, into the cycles of the software development, translate CVSS to a simplified risk score, reduce the risk with compensating controls. Okay, now we're going to take a look briefly on what it is CVE and CVSS. CVE is a list of information security vulnerabilities and exposures that aims to provide common names for publicly known problems. The goal of CVE is to make it easier to share data across separate vulnerability capabilities like tools, repositories, and services with this common enumeration. The common vulnerability scoring system, CVSS, is a free and open industry standard for accessing the severity of computer system security vulnerabilities. CVSS attempts to assign severity scores to vulnerabilities, allowing the responders to prioritize responses and resources according to threat. Now, The next big thing here, the next important element is DevOps support. DevOps is an acronym which comes from Dev from development, software development, and Ops from IT operations, and it is a procedure which aims to shorten the system's development lifetime cycle and provide continuous delivery with high software efficiency and quality to the end user of our services. Currently, DevOps is more like a philosophical movement, not yet a precise collection of practices, descriptive or prescriptive, as Jim Kim said. Support rapid continuous deployments. So speed is one of the things that we need to achieve via DevOps. Understand and support unit testing. Of course, speed, not without quality, okay? Quality, high quality software that need to be delivered at the end of the process. Automate testing and deployment processes. Take a blue-green environment approach. The blue-green environment approach is an approach via which we create two separate identical environments. V1 is running in the current application version, and the other one is running in the new application version. We're going to see in a bit more detail what's going on with this approach, this method. Consider the asset life cycles in your deployment methodology. Now, blue-green deployment is a technique that reduces downtime and risk by running two identical production environments called blue and green. The one is idle, the other is working, and then we change them, and we are going to discuss about that a bit. At any time, only one of the environments is live, with the live environment serving all production traffic. For this example, blue is currently live and green is idle, for example. As you prepare a new version of your software, deployment and the final stage of testing takes place in the environment that is not live. In this case, it is the green one. Once you have deployed and fully tested the software in green, you switch the router to show all incoming requests now go to green instead of the blue. Green is now live, and then, of course, blue is idle. One always is live and one always is idle. This technique can eliminate downtime due to application deployment. In addition, blue-green deployment reduces risk. If something unexpected happens with your new version on green, you can immediately roll back to the last version by switching back to blue, etc. Okay. Now, which are the skills adopted by effective teams? Be subject matter experts. Top-performing businesses are embracing small and medium enterprises as the new rainmakers. As Ian Altman said, strive for operational self-reliance. Know the cloud service menus, AWS, Azure, etc. 3 types of monitoring: real user, synthetic user, and system. Understand web application architectures, understand web application communications, REST and SOAP methodologies. We're going to see a couple of things about this, why they're different and how they're different. Internet protocol suite and terminology, network performance waterfall, which is a method that we use in program and software development. Now, in terms of just a couple of words, in terms of the synthetic monitoring, the synthetic monitoring has to do with a process which helps webmasters to identify problems and in order to determine if a website or an application is slow or experiencing downtime before it will affect the end user. So it is, again, a proactive process of monitoring our systems. Understanding SOAP and REST basics and differences. Simple object to access protocol, which is called SOAP, and representation state transfer, which is the REST, are 2 answers to the same question: how to access web services. The choice initially may seem easy, but at times it can be surprisingly difficult. Now, SOAP is a standards-based web services access protocol that has been around for a while and enjoys all of the benefits of long-term use. Originally developed by Microsoft, SOAP really isn't as simple as the acronym should suggest. The REST is the newcomer onto the block. It seeks to fix the problems with SOAP and provide a truly simple method of accessing web services. Now, we are going to compare SOAP and REST, the 2 methods. SOAP is definitely the heavyweight choice for web service access. It provides the following advantages when compared to REST: language, platform, and the transport independent, because the REST requires the HTTP protocol, works well in distributed enterprise environments. REST assures direct point-to-point communication. It is more standardized It provides significant pre-built extensibility in the form of WS standards. By WS, we mean prefix used to indicate specifications associated with web services, and there exist many WS standards, including WS addressing, WS discovery, WS federation, WS policy, WS security, and WS trust, built-in error handling, and automation when used with certain language products. Now, REST is easier to use for the most part, and it is more flexible. It has the following advantages when compared to SOAP. No expensive tools required to interact with the web service. We have Smorning Learning Curve, which means that it is easier to learn it. Efficient SOAP uses XML for all messages, while REST can use smaller message formats. Fast, no excessive processing required, and closer to other web technologies in design philosophy. Now, incubate subject matter experts. Diligence is the matter of good luck, as Benjamin Franklin said. Great small and medium enterprises love to solve problems. In fact, I don't know if they love. The thing is that they have a lot of problems, especially nowadays. And one of their main problems, of course, is their liquidity. It's always was and always will be, I guess. Reduce cynicism by empowering engineers and micromanage processes, not people. Micromanaging people is the wrong approach, if you ask me, because it's going to ruin your team work and it's going to ruin trust inside your team. So instead of micromanaging people, it is better to micromanaging processes, because in that way you can detect potential mistakes or errors before it is too late. Embrace specialized expertise, which is very important. We need our expertise to be where they should be in the whole operation process. Encourage breadth of knowledge and endorse cross-functional training, because cross-functional training is going to help us, because many people are going to be able to help each other and collaborate in a better way. Here we have a figure which gives us an understanding of how the breadth of knowledge continues inside the company. Here in this direction, we have the depth of knowledge, and here we have the breadth of knowledge. We have the specialists, the generalists that combine with specialists, and we have the generalists and several other specialists, which create the IIT, the IIT Operations, and how an effective team can work as part of the IIT Operations inside the company. Now, know your numbers. Another important element in business, and of course in digital business, is know your numbers. You've got to know the numbers, or I will eviscerate you, as Kevin O'Leary said. What did it cost to run operations today? This is one of the first questions that you need to answer ask yourself. What will it cost to run operations tomorrow? Are they going to be more expensive than today? Is this something that we can afford as a business? Keep a detailed inventory. Keep costs transparent and reportable, because all shareholders need to know what's going on in the company. Tag cloud assets. Require inventory and cost transparency from your vendors. This has to do with a transparent and trust-based collaboration between you and your vendors. Increasing development team velocity, which is very important. Velocity is extremely important, especially nowadays. Happy developers are productive developers. This goes for all employees. Happy employees are productive employees. The same goes with developers. Streamline systems and tool access. Escalate incidents in the right time. Avoid anti-patterns and then set up developers to succeed. Support their desire to learn new things. Reduce bureaucracy and focus on building things. Consolidate or update legacy systems. Include them in the right kind of problem-solving. So these are characteristics of how to produce a very supportive and a very productive team of developers, which are going to be a very effective part of our whole operations, IT operations of our company. Digital transformation and planning for the future. By far, the greatest danger of artificial intelligence is that people conclude too early that they understand it, as Eliezer Witkowski said. Digital operation service design, digital evolution and planning for the future, it has to be focused on high data quality, which is very important, because your decisions are going to be based, if not on 100%, at a higher degree, at least at the highest degree, on your data. And accurate data will bring good results in terms of decision making. The wrong data will lead you to wrong directions. Internet of Things and machine learning is only the beginning. Okay, we are into Industry 4, running into Industry 4, to, going towards Industry 5, where robots are going to work hand by hand with humans. Right now, we can use information that comes from sensors all over the globe that communicate together via the Internet of Things. And of course, machine learning will help us is helping us to analyze big chunks of data and to identify patterns and trends. Blockchain is not just for cryptocurrencies. It is something that we can use in all businesses because it gives us a high level of security. Failure as a service, anti-fragile. Anti-fragile is a standalone book in Nassim Nicholas Taleb's landmark Incerto series, an investigation of opacity, lack, uncertainty, probability, human error, risk, and decision making in a world we don't understand. But now maybe it is time to discuss a bit about software development, IT operations, DevOps, which involves culture, automation, measurement, and sharing. A set of practices incorporating clean, agile, and other concepts in order to improve software delivery capabilities. The DevOps team places an emphasis on these things like shared goals, shared visibility, shared control, and shared services. In terms of shared goals, working together to deliver value. This is the goal that the whole team needs to share. And of course, when we're discussing about value, you mean about value to deliver value to our customers, okay? Because in that way, we're going to gain them. Shared visibility, Div, QA, Ops, LOB, HR, finance partners, everybody needs to be visible inside these operations. Shared control of Ops and Div methods and tech, shared services, disposable on-demand resources and services. DevOps is the combination of cultural philosophies, practices, and tools that increases an organization's ability to deliver applications and services at high velocity, evolving and improving products at a faster pace, and organizations using traditional software development and infrastructure management processes. We can see here this figure. We have the quality assurance part, the development, software engineering part, and the operations. And here in the middle, the common thing that all these three processes have is DevOps. Venn diagram showing DevOps as the intersection of development, software engineering, operations, and quality assurance. DevOps concepts are DevOps principles, DevOps practices, and DevOps tools. In terms of principles, the three ways, which involve system thinking, amplify feedback loops, culture of continual experimentation. Okay. Experimentation, it is the mother of invention, and it is extremely important in this kind of situations. CAMS, which involves culture, people, process, tools. This is the C part. A for automation, infrastructure as code. M for measurement, measure everything. And of course, S for sharing, collaboration, and feedback. If you follow this pattern, then success, it should be very close. You need to share, to collaborate with each other. You need to create a very good teamwork. You need to measure everything, because upon measurement, you can base decision making, and of course, you can see how you can base your controlling, how you deviate or not from the preset standards. Automation, infrastructure as code, and of course, the fundamental basis upon which everything is based and it is built: culture, people, process, and tools. Informed by the values in the Agile Manifesto and Lean Theory of Constraints. Now, the practices, we have version control for all, automated testing, proactive monitoring and metrics, Kanban, Scrum, which are Scrum is a technique, and Kanban is based upon just in time that started with Toyota. Visible ops, change management. We said a couple of words about change management, how important it is. Configuration management, incident command system, continuous integration, deployment, and delivery. Put developers on call, virtualization, cloud containers, tool chain approach, transparent uptime, incident retrospectives. Now add ops into dev. Enhance service design with operational knowledge, which is based upon reliability, performance, security, and test them. Build feedback paths back from production, which has to do with monitoring and metrics and post-mortems. excuse me, foster a culture of responsibility. Whether your code passes tests, gets deployed, and stays up for users is your responsibility, not someone else's. Make development better with ops, IT operations, production-like environments, and power tooling. Accelerate flow to production, which has to do with reducing batch size. Automated environments mean identical div test prod environments. Create safety through automation via continuous integration and testing, automated regression testing, continuous delivery, continuous deployment, feature flags, A and B testing, which one is the best, which work best, and this is what we adopt, and security testing, of course, about the security of the whole thing. Add dev into ops. So we have the operations, and now we need to add the software development into it. Don't do tasks for people. Build tools so they can do their own work. Okay, this of course has to do with a more democratic leadership approach and a more free free culture that you're going to implement in your company. Monitoring, loading metrics feeds back into dev, and the business. Blameless incident postmortems. Developers do production support and power operations acceptance. Grassroots checklist, a fundamental checklist of what we want to have in our team. Find ways to collaborate, involve others early. Find ways to automate and make self-service. Become metrics driven. Learn new things, continually improve. Understand the larger business goals, metrics, and priorities you support. Communicate. Work in parallel with small batches. Allow refactoring. Prove the business value to management. These are the basis upon which you need to build the whole thing. Management checklist now, in terms of the management part of it. Experiment. Choose a test case as a pilot. Then document and spread best practices. Empower your teams, but guide their values. Metrics are your friend. Demand measurable outcomes. Don't accept excuses when the old baseline is good enough. Fail fast, continually improve. Build on small successes to gain broad support for more substantive change. Align roles and responsibilities across groups. Enable collaboration even if it seems inefficient. So what do we see here in these two lists? What we see that the most important thing, apart from automation, the software you use, the tools, so everything else, it is teamwork. Okay, everything needs to be based upon teamwork and experimentation. So innovation, which comes from experimentation, and teamwork, which comes from the right company culture and how you share your values with your teammates, even if you're the manager or just a member of the team. They are critical in terms of the success of the whole endeavor. Things not to do, what not to do, only token gestures. Ops team, change your name to DevOps team. Okay, let's do it, no problem. But this is something trivial. Okay, it doesn't have to do with the final result, which needs to be to add value to our customers. Put DevOps in those job titles. Only implement tools. Changing tools without changing tactics leaves the battlefield strewn with bodies. You have the tools, you have the right tools, which will help you to work in the best possible and efficient way in order to deliver value to your customers. But if you don't have the right tactics, these tools are going to not be operated in the right way. Okay, so you need tactics that need to be in place in order to use tools in the right way. Create more silos, devalue operations or development knowledge, anything you're not measuring the impact of. So this completes today's lesson about digital management. You saw many new things, many new terms, and we had a brief discussion about how things operate in the digital world of business. If you ask me, the main takeaway is something very, very simple, and is something that doesn't have to do that much with digital. It has to do with the teamwork, with the culture that you have in your company, in your development and software development company. Of course, you need to take under consideration things like don't decide only with your guts, with your experience, but also crunch data. Other thing is that you need to leverage all the new technologies that Industry 4 is giving you, like Internet of Things, machine learning, data analysis, you name it, anything that you feel it can help you improve the quality of your business. You can use different approaches like the blue-green approach, or the synthetic monitoring, etc. The thing is that at the end of the day, it's you and your people. So do what you can to do, what you have to do in order to empower them, in order to create good tactics that will help them to use the right tools in the right way, and follow the procedures in a way that will not prevent innovation, will not prevent you from being agile and innovative, but on the contrary, to let you be agile and innovative. And in that way, with good communication, good teamwork, being agile, being innovative, use all the tools that you have and the tactics that you need to use in order for these tools to be used in the best possible way. And of course, by leveraging new technologies, everything is going to be okay. You're going to have a very successful team, and you're going to deliver the value that you want to deliver to your end customers. Thank you very much for watching. See you with our next lesson. Goodbye.